Chappie.
It's
The Neil Blomkamp.
Blomkamp. I don't know how to say that guy's name.
Director of District 9.
District 9
Same guy.
And what's the other one?
Elysium?
Elysium.
Yeah.
Right.
Which we also saw.
Yeah. So,
sci-fi set in...
We don't really, it's in the future. We know that like the beginning of everything started in 2016, so we know it has to be past 2016. So there's like, it's your standard like RoboCop scenario. It's happened in a couple other things where there's just robots who are now law enforcement. And the guy who developed it also develops an AI program, and he steals one of the... Indian guy, of course. So he steals one of the robots, inserts his AI program, and it's a baby child, but it's a robot. And
but he also gets kidnapped by these gangsters.
At the same time,
who have a dilemma to meet, which is to pay another gangster some money that they owe someone. So technically, these good gangsters, I guess, good gangsters, they kidnap the AI intelligence developer, the Indian guy, and that's where Chappie is pretty much born.
So these gangsters race Chappie, and that's the premise. We don't start breaking these things down. Like one of the things you notice about Neil Blomkamp is that he loves he likes a lot of layers of villain in his movies. I've noticed there's a kind of a bad guy, there's a little bit more of a bad guy, and there's like a political kind of sort of bad guy who misunderstands everything and gets in the way, and then you also have there's always going to be like a really inhuman monster bad guy too, which is going to be cool, I guess, when he does alien movies and there's like a really against all odds good guy, and it gets a little lopsided sometimes, I feel like, but
yeah, it was hard to tell who was the bad guy.
Yeah, who's like the villain here? There's like this kind of bad guy, there's a worse guy, and there's a worse guy than that, and there's a worse guy than that, coming at a bunch of different angles, and everybody's bad, and Chappie's got to kill everybody, I guess. But anyway, that's...
I didn't think it was gonna get that emotional. It was it had that.
Yeah.
The emotional aspect.
It was totally gonna get that emotional from the beginning.
Once they started talking about what they were gonna do, I had a hunch that it was gonna be like an animal movie where the animal dies. I'm like, dang it. There were too many subplots that kind of, I felt like, deterred, and then if they had to wrap up, which I do, don't get me wrong, if there's gonna be subplots, I'd rather you tie up all the loose ends, but when you had to tie up all the loose ends of all these subplots, like the Moose, and Hugh Jackman's, his antagonism, and then you also had
the big buff guy.
The big buff guy, his antagonism, and then the lesser gangsters that raised Chappie, their antagonism. You had all these different storylines of antagonism.
I mean, right. He's not an antagonist, but that was also a loose end they had to fix.
Yeah, there's all these like, because there were all these odds stacked against them, they had to tie up the loose ends for all of those.
It's probably just the whole. A lot of debate will go into the consciousness thing. A lot of people will have that debate. Right. That's the first thing I thought of once I walked in here. The story's great. I thought the characters were good. They were very, very colorful characters. I thought.
A lot of Blade Runner kind of stuff.
Yeah, Blade Runner kind of. You could put Chappie together from a bunch of other different movies like RoboCop and Blade Runner, and maybe even Logan's Run a little bit, and Transcendence and a couple other things. But it definitely has that Neil Blomkamp stamp.
Seeing Hugh Jackman outside of the Wolverine context, he's just a roid head.